And now, what's the secret sauce with OpenShift that makes people go to it? Let's see it. So let's just go to one of the pods we just created. This pod is up and running. Let's go to the logs. So, so as we had just discussed, see, this is a random number that has been assigned to run this pod, and we have assigned a name ws9admin to this user and added this user to the group that is called as root. Since we have already given permissions on the various files and folders, it is possible for us to start the application server. Now this application server will run as per our requirements. We can also try running the IVT from the terminal. Let's do one thing before running the IVT. I just want to play with my container. So one thing we have to see here is uh, now I am directly going in, I'm about to directly go and stop my application server. But in actual scenarios, there may be other reasons due to which the server can get stopped. In those cases, what does OpenShift do for us? So we have provided something to OpenShift called as liveness probe, and as part of the liveness probe, we have asked it to check whether the server is up and running, and we have asked it to check by using the HTTP URL to check at a specific port. Now the OpenShift will be doing this job periodically. So OpenShift does this activity for all pods for which liveness probe is mentioned, and we are mentioning a liveness probe for MDM so that we can leverage this feature of OpenShift. Now what you're able to see here is the server stopped, right? Server stop completed. Now whenever server is stopped, right, will it be able to accept any request? Like if you send a request to it, okay, a transaction to it, will it be able to function? Obviously it will not be able to do that, right? So that means OpenShift should be careful enough that such that it does not send any request to this server. So let's see how OpenShift does that for us. So if you see here, it is capable of showing us that 0 out of 1 containers is ready. So this was the pod where we went and gave the stop server. So it's saying 0 out of 1. It indicates that our container is not yet ready. So when a container is not ready, OpenShift will ensure that requests do not reach that server and they only reach other servers that are up and running. So it shows 0 out of 1, and if you see here, container restarts, it has got updated to 1, meaning that the container is getting restarted now. That means it's running the start server on this pod once, right? So imagine even if you had something like a VOS cluster, right? If one server goes down, the system will not be able to automatically start it. But here OpenShift gives us certain mechanisms through which it is capable of correcting something that is faulty and auto starting it by itself. Thereby this is very much advantageous to us. So this liveness probe is a health check from OpenShift, and it provides many advantages for MDM. Now let's start doing one more thing. So there are two pods here. Let me go and delete this pod. So our idea is not to actually delete a pod here, but assume that a node on which this pod is running has gone down. Obviously in that case the pod will get deleted, right? So assume it is that way. So that node is down, so this pod is going down. So the moment I say OC delete pod, this pod is getting deleted, it will get terminated and it will get deleted. So what happens, the number of replicas that we wanted, right? We told we want 2 replicas, out of them 1 has got deleted now. But what we wanted 2 replicas. Now let's see how OpenShift reacts to it. So since the command line there is still proceeding, we are back to the console, the web console. If you see here, the moment this got terminated, a new pod is just started. So this is how OpenShift helps us in maintaining the number of replicas that we require. These two are not the only secrets. So, I mean, one is it maintains the number of replicas, and the second is the health checks, which enables us to have a given number of pods always functioning. More than this, it has another addition, and we will be able to see that in the deployment config object. We will be able to see that in the horizontal pod autoscaler. So in the deployment config, we have mentioned that we require 2 replicas. Yeah, and after this only we had a replication controller which is maintaining these 2 replicas for us. Now when we scroll down, you see something here called as the autoscaling. So this is the detail that comes from the horizontal pod autoscaler. So we have configured an object called as horizontal pod autoscaler, wherein we have informed Kubernetes that I always require a minimum number of pods, 2 pods at minimum, but then whenever my CPU request goes beyond 75%, start increasing the number of pods, and the maximum number of pods you can go to is 8. So this kind of a configuration and the appropriate monitoring and action taken by OpenShift helps us to maintain resources. The horizontal pod autoscaler helps us in creating resources based on demand, based on the requests that are coming in, and it performs the scaling on demand, right? So thereby it helps us to conserve a lot of resources. Hence this is very useful to us as well. Now we just saw that our pods can be placed on any node. We do not have any control on where our pod is being placed. Now given that we do not have the control, one pod may be in node 1 and another is in node 2, and node 2 goes down, it goes to node 4. So we do not have any actual control on where our pod is being placed, right? So how can you ensure proper access to pods when these pods can be placed anywhere? That becomes our next query, right? So if you see here, there are a number of labels that are associated with each pod, right? So there is a label called as app, deployment config, name, and version, right? So we need a reliable method to reach a pod, to reach our container, regardless of wherever it is being placed. So OpenShift provides us a way to go to our containers in our pods, to reach them using an object that is called as a service. So let us just give OC get services here, and we are able to see something called as MDM host over here, right? So let's say OC edit MDM host to see what is available in it. OC edit service MDM host. So if you see here, it says that it is a service. The service itself has certain labels, a namespace which is the same as our project name, and it specifies the ports that are being exposed. It has a cluster IP, and if you come down, it shows something called as a selector. This selector is essentially represents the pods that this service represents. Okay, so this, whatever the selector has under it, is a label, is a set of labels, and this service is going to represent all pods that have this specific label in it. That's what is implied to us by means of using this selector. And we also see one more detail here, which is the type. The type that is used here is cluster IP. So when we say cluster IP, it means that this service is available only to the pods and to the all other resources that are present within this specific OpenShift cluster. It is not available outside of this cluster. So there is another type which is frequently used, which is node port. When we use node port, we will be able to access the service from any of these nodes by using a specific port. The port will be created which will be in the range between 30,000 to 32767. We can go and assign a specific port if we want. If we have not provided, the system will itself assign a port. So we are using client IP here, and with all these details, it is not possible for us to access user interfaces outside, right? So in order to access user interfaces outside the cluster, we can use something called as routes. Routes are objects that come only with OpenShift. They are not available in Kubernetes. The equivalent object that comes in Kubernetes is the ingress. So here we are able to see a route. This route is representing MDM host, the service MDM host, and the port 9443 in it. Since this is a secure port, we are using a pass-through termination type, wherein the encrypted traffic will directly be sent to the pod as is. Um, Routes provide a specific host name corresponding to each service and port through which the service can be accessed reliably. Thank you.